What's up, buzzers? Tonight we're discussing episode 6, Runaway. Nikki goes back home to DC and Barry is taking a break. Oh my gosh, but guess what? We have a special guest in store for you. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Buzzers, thank you so very much for joining us again for another night of hip-hop fun. We're discussing episode 6, Runaway, and it was all that and more, child. But before we get into it, I gotta tell you, we had a lovely chance to meet Mr. Marcus Callender, aka Scooby, which is Om's best friend, and we're gonna get into a lovely Skype interview with Mr. Scooby. So much to talk about. I can't wait for you guys to see this. We had a lovely time with him. How do you guys feel about that interview?
Oh my God, I loved it.
Great interview.
New York is in the house.
I'm just happy because he's from New York. He's from Brooklyn, so it was a great chance to get to know Marcus a little bit.
Yes, and I liked his energy. Really dope, very insightful. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little tired of all y'all New York people. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's cool. I'm gonna find somebody from the South to bring on.
The hate is strong.
The hate is real.
Marcus was very, very different from Scooby. So I know you guys probably will not like Scooby after episode 6, but I promise you, you're gonna love yourself some Marcus, okay? Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you guys to see this. It's gonna be so freaking amazing. Oh my gosh, there's gonna be so much to talk about tonight.
Yes.
I'm
girl.
pop. I'm. Hey.
It's like so
This is my jam.
Oh my gosh.
It's too bad I can't get up and start like doing my pop line.
I'm doing the robot.
That's the break. That's the break.
I'm trying to pop line.
Wait. Okay, guys. We have someone super, super special with us. That's joining us right now. We see you, Marcus. Guys, we have a very, very special guest that's joining us right now on Skype. He goes by the name as Marcus Callender, but you know him as Scooby on VH1 The Breaks. Ladies, how y'all feel?
I'm doing good. Franceli's here checking in. You can hang out with me on all things social media at Celly Hangout.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Nakia Monet. You can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Miss Candy Marie, and you can find me on Instagram at Miss Candy Marie and on Twitter at Sweet Kendora TV.
And you already know you can find me at Dominique Cerita on Instagram and Twitter. But Mr. Marcus, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Distant Loving and on Twitter at Marcus Callender.
Marcus.
Okay, so you can't, like Kevin Hart says, you're not just gonna say that and then just, So where did that handle come from?
Listen, I get asked that all the time. Well, I'm a big fan of Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye is my favorite artist of all time.
Come through.
I play on the song Distant Lover. You know that song about Distant Lover?
Yes.
We do.
Right. So yeah, it's just a play on that.
That's where you got it from.
Nice.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it. We love it. So, Mr. Marcus, how are you doing? You doing good?
Great. I'm great. How you guys doing?
We're great.
Man, we're so excited to have you.
We love you on the breaks. We love you as Scooby, and we just want to jump right into it. Scooby, so how was this audition process?
The audition process was really cool, actually. I had to call back with the director, Seath Van, who's a really great guy. And I remember I did the audition. He gave me a few notes. I took the notes, and I remember leaving the audition. Right before I left the audition, he like stood up and shook my hand, which never happens before. Like, even if they like your work, it's hard to tell. So I remember he, really, gave me a great compliment after I left. So I kind of felt like I had the job when I left. But of course, a few days later, I got the offer, and it was great. It was great.
So who was the first person you called when you got that call back saying you got that role?
Right.
My girlfriend at the time, actually.
Oh,
Nice. There goes the distant
Distant
loving.
loving.
he's clearly a lover, y'all. So
I
for
see you,
all
Marvin
the
Gaye.
fans,
Yes,
Scooby may be
Marcus
hard on the
Gaye.
outside, but he's a teddy bear on the inside.
He's real hard on the outside.
Now, Marcus, you know that we're on Skype because we're on the West Coast and you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
Where are you from?
Yeah, what's up? What you rapping?
I'm born and raised in Brooklyn.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, Sally. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Knowing what the answer was
That's
gonna
all right.
be.
The Bronx is in the building.
We got Bronx
So,
right
Marcus,
here.
now that we've had a connection, because people ask me all the time about my Instagram handle. Sorry, Sally, he is from Brooklyn.
You know what? That's fine.
What part of Brooklyn are you from, sir?
I'm from Brownsville. That's where I'm from.
Nice, Brownsville.
Okay. So how was it actually being from Brooklyn and actually filming the breaks in New York City?
It was amazing. Honestly, like it was. I remember when I read the script and when we started working on it, when we started working on set, every day felt very nostalgic because we got to talk about things from the 90s and all the stuff that we love, and we got to incorporate a lot of that into the show. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, the 90s is my favorite era of music.
Absolutely. For sure.
We love it.
It's that. And that's also what allowed me to play Scooby. Like I drew a lot from the things I saw growing up in my neighborhood. So that's the other great thing about the show too, because they really hit with that, with the authenticity of the things that happen in Brooklyn and all the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Well, I have some questions for Scooby, not Marcus. Right? Marcus, I got nothing but love for you, but I got some interrogating to do to Scooby because I feel like, what's up, man? Like, we've talked about it on other after shows, and one of the main concerns we talk about is like survivor's guilt, and when you're trying to get out the hood and you're trying to move up and progress, and they're the people that are trying to hold you down. And I feel like, Scooby, you ain't trying to let your man get out the game. Like, what's up with that?
Well, first of all, that's my man.
You know, like, can he?
That's my man. Like, I love him.
Like, can he win? Like,
and then you got, this Deevee character
trying to come in.
with talking about he a producer and whatnot. We got business to handle that we've been handling for years. So it's kind of like, where did this come from? And it's also too like, we're also family. It's not just about the shenanigans we get into. We're family. Yeah. So when somebody comes and kind of disrupts that, and you kind of start to lose where you come from, and people don't like that.
Right.
And speaking of family, were you guys pretty much a close-knit family on set, behind the scenes?
Absolutely, really? Absolutely. The whole cast and crew felt like a family. We filmed a lot of the scenes you see with me and Gok. A lot of those scenes we shot at the Fort Greene Projects in Brooklyn. And what was great too is that the community in that neighborhood, they were really welcoming, and they showed a lot of support, which was great, because we had long hours filming, so
and
really appreciated that.
Miss Kiki actually brought up a point last episode when we did our after show. She noticed the Twin Towers that was in the background of the scene when you and was on the rooftop.
It was a
How did
shot,
they film that? Did they do like a backdrop or something?
Nah, that's real.
They took
the
actual footage.
They edited in.
Oh, wait.
The old school.
Bring that back. What was the question?
So like, obviously it's set not in present day. In present day, the Twin Towers are now just the World Trade Center, the Freedom Tower. So we were saying that in the last episode, we got to see the old Twin Towers, and that was super dope. So it's definitely old footage.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you were saying about how authentic the show is and how they relate and then go back to everything. So to see the Twin Towers behind you guys standing on the roof, it blew my mind.
It was nostalgic.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Like, that's home.
Yeah,
man. Home.
Yeah. It was great. I mean, I thought you were talking about like the actual shot itself, because we were on a roof, and that was a beautiful shot right there.
Oh my gosh, I know that just had to hit home for you. Like, yo, this is my hometown. I'm actually filming. I was born and raised, and now I'm doing what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that had to be like the dopest feeling ever. And
also, sorry, go ahead.
No, and then also a lot of the cast members are from New York too. Deevee, Mac Wilds, and they're all from New York too. So that just had to be a crazy moment for you all. Yeah,
it was great. Plus, we're all music lovers, and that was the other great thing too. Like, I remember every day on set, the way I prepared, I would listen to Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z's first album.
Yes, that's it. Yes. So we gotta do a Chris Rock moment. What's your top 5?
Yes.
What are your top 5?
Oh, wow.
Top 5.
No,
Come
no,
on.
no judgment.
So you know Jay-Z gonna be in there.
All right.
No
Jay-Z's
judgment.
my favorite rapper. Jay-Z's
Biggie?
my
Was
favorite
that
rapper.
Biggie?
No, he said Jay-Z.
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 Jay-Z is 1. Rick Ross is number 2. Who else? Kanye.
Yeah, the
Okay.
old
Okay.
Ye, right? The old Ye, right?
I like all Ye. I mean, Ye. I know some Ye is better than other Ye.
Right,
Ye
then
is
you'll
an
be okay.
artist. Who else? I would say Biggie. Biggie's number 4 for me.
For sure.
And man.
It's
Got
tough.
the shoulders moving.
I would say I don't know.
Nas.
Number 5.
You can't
Who?
make him put Nas
You
in the
can't,
top
you
5.
can't make him pick
I mean, that's the
somebody.
thing. I love Nas.
I love Nas too,
I
but
can't lie. He's not in my top 5. I love
no.
Nas.
But wait a minute. Since you said you guys were all rappers and all love music, was there any like ciphers going on set?
Of course.
You know you got spit some for us.
Hey, wait.
some
So
bars.
wait, we need to hear some
Now,
bars.
me, you know, we were fooling around and stuff like that, you know. But Antoine, who plays you know, he had a few bars.
Okay, that's now.
so sorry,
Okay.
to me cut you guys off. So Marcus, you being
Yeah.
a great actor that you are, how long have you been acting? When was the moment that you knew you wanted to be an actor?
Y'all want to hear that story?
Of course.
Yes.
I've been acting going on for 11 years now.
Wow.
And I started acting when I was in high school. I used to be a jock. I played basketball mostly. And I was in English class, which I usually hated, but I had a teacher at the time who actually made it fun because she let us read plays instead of, you know, the boring literature that they make you read. And she asked if anybody wanted to come up and do a scene. And, you know, me being a class clown, I raised my hand to, you know, try to fool around. But for some reason, when I went up to read the play, it was the play called The Crucible by Arthur Miller. You know that play?
Yes.
Amazing. Yes.
So I did a scene from that, and for some reason, I just really connected to the material. So after the scene, she's like, "Yo, you got something. You should really pursue this." And just so happens at the time they were doing a Raisin in the Sun at my school,
I remember that.
and I ended up auditioning for it, got the lead, and I've been acting ever since. Literally.
That's
Shout out to the
amazing.
teachers.
Listen,
Shout out to the teachers
right,
who see
for
this, who see it.
inspiring.
Yeah.
Right, that was dope.
Yes,
I
I would Miss Ballman. I would never forget Miss Ballman. She's literally the reason I'm an actor to this day.
I have a follow-up to that, being that I'm from New York, and you know, the Bronx and Brooklyn, there's some tough neighborhoods.
We got beat.
There's some tough neighborhoods, but in the sense of like, as a man, you know, and Scooby can relate to that too, the need to put up this facade of being hard. And so going into the arts, growing up, did you ever feel like you had to balance those two worlds, being from Brownsville and people maybe around you not understanding why you doing that and that's soft, and people where you from don't do that? What was that like for you?
I mean, I had those battles with myself. I didn't, like, as I said, I was an athlete. So somebody telling me I should go into theater, I was like, what?
Right.
Theater? What is that?
Right.
So it was definitely like a weird adjustment at first, but you know, once you get into it, you know, you kind of fall in love with it. And I'm super sensitive. I'm a water sign.
Oh, you're Cancer.
Oh, Cancer.
I'm a Sagittarius.
No,
that's
he's
why
a Pisces.
Oh, okay. I'm about
He's
to
a
say.
Pisces.
I'm like, I was being sarcastic because I'm a fire sign. So
I'm a water sign too, so I understand.
So do you have a preference? Do you prefer the stage and theater, or do you prefer like on-screen movies and TV series?
They're both brilliant. They both have their pros and cons. I love theater because I love that it's live. I love that it's in the moment. I love that it's happening right then and there, and every night is different.
Yeah.
And with TV and film, I love just the magic of creating a world on screen. And I love, because the thing with TV and film, it allows you to really, in my opinion, it allows you to really go there. You're not pretending. There's not really any room for that. And I really love that. And I really also love the technical aspect, you know, getting a certain shot and making things look a certain way. And it's a magical thing, both TV and film and theater. But I'm gonna go with theater. That's where.
It's so funny because right before we talked to you, we were having the same conversation about like I'm biased. I'm a theater kid too from New York, and there's just something about, you know, getting to live inside that body of those people, and the relationships you build is so different because you're living with these people for months, rehearsals for months. While on set, sometimes you'll shoot a movie with someone you never even meet. You know, like you'll be in the same movie with someone, but you guys never had scenes together. And there's this disconnection that happens in film and television, and it's so fast that you don't. Theater is just a different thing. So yes, brother.
I trained in theater. I went to SUNY Purchase. I went to the conservatory there.
Nice.
So you know, when you train for 4 years in theater, you know, that transition into going into film was a weird adjustment at first, because you feel like you're not acting, you feel like you're not doing anything, because when you're on stage, you have to be big, you have to be open, you have to be super present. You also have to be heard, you know, because you're in a theater and you have a huge audience, so you got to project and make sure that anybody sitting in the back can hear you.
Right.
So, you know, making that adjustment was a little weird at first too, but now that, you know, since doing it for this long, I love it. I love it. But I love both. Like that in my opinion, those are the actors that I respect the most, that can do both, can go back and forth seamlessly.
And speaking of actors, who are some of the actors you actually admire and look up to right now?
My favorite actor is Denzel Washington.
Yes!
Denzel's the man.
The beast.
Denzel that's top notch. I really love Denzel. I'm a fan of Alfre Woodard. I think she's brilliant.
I do love her.
Phenomenal.
I mean, not just because he's on the show, but I think Wood Harris is brilliant.
Yeah,
Legend.
I gotta ask you, how many
Is
times
he killing it on the show?
We gotta get him on. We gotta get him on.
Maybe you could put in a good word for us.
Right. Hit him up. Be like, yo, what?
Yes, but speaking of Wood Harris, how many times did you call him Ace Boogie on set? Because I know I had to slip out.
No, I never.
Really?
He's like, nah.
Every time I see one, I'm like, Ace Boogie.
Now,
He's a really great guy too. Really nice guy.
Yes.
Now, there's one thing that we have not heard you say. Now, we've heard about, you know, your top 5 and, you know, y'all New York talking all of that. But you have not told us what your favorite moment or memory in 90s hip hop is.
Whoa. Oh, man.
She hit him with the
bombs
right there.
Yeah, she hit me with the.
She hit you with the bomb.
My favorite moment in 90s music?
Hip hop.
Hip-hop. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't listening to hip-hop in the 90s.
He was more an R&B cat.
R&B cat.
He's a lover.
Did Sting love
At
you?
that time. I was on my wave during that time. Like I listened to hip-hop, I dabbed in it, but I was listening to Usher. I was listening to Mary J.
So were you listening to that Total featuring Biggie though?
Yes.
That's the hip hop. That crossover hip hop.
And that like Drew Hill.
Right.
Nice and slow.
Oh my God.
Yes.
701.
Yes. Let me tell you what you want to do.
That nice
That
and slow
whole
now.
album, 8701, man.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Oh my gosh. Also, I want to ask you this one last question too. Well, not one last question, but I also want to ask you this question. What was the biggest thing that you learned so far on set of being on the breaks? Because I know you said it's been a transition from your theater world to your TV screen world. So what's the biggest lesson that you learned?
As an actor?
As an actor, yes.
The biggest
So
lesson
far,
I've
up
learned.
into the journey that you are on right now.
That for me, I guess the biggest thing I'm learning is staying present and staying in the moment, because when you're on stage, you're telling a story from beginning to end. There's no stopping. It's going straight. So everything is happening in the moment. There's no room to really stop and say cut, you know, those things like that. And when you're on set, sometimes, you know, you say you're doing a scene, sometimes they have to stop, and it's not even because of something you're doing, it's something completely technical. So for me, it's just learning how to stay present, stay in the moment, even when they yell cut, and when they say action, how do I make that moment fresh again? How do I, and then also with that, sometimes you gotta do scenes over and over and over and over and over again. So for me, I love every time I work, whether it's on the breaks or any other thing I'm doing, I'm learning how to stay present, how to make the moments fresh, because I don't like to repeat moments. I like to give something different each time.
Well, you're definitely not repeating moments. You actually will be up and coming on the Power new season 4 as Mr. Ray Ray, right?
I'm on season 3.
You on season 3?
I first premiered the last episode of season 3.
What? Oh my gosh, you're working out here in these streets.
Marcus, I wanted to ask you, because you're an actor and most of us are all actors, what advice would you give someone who's been doing this for a while? Because as actors, a lot of people face rejection because they didn't get that call back. So what is it that got you through, and what advice would you give people out there who still,
what keeps you going? Because I think anything worth having, you'll think about quitting at least once in the journey.
Absolutely. All I'm going to say is this. Anything worth having is never easy to get. Never. And in this business, you get told no time and time and time and time again. And what's important is to remember that it's not you. It's not you. It's not something that you're doing. So many things play into them hiring you. Like, a lot of the time, they're not going to hire you because you're good. Sometimes they'll hire you because you're a certain height. Sometimes they'll hire you because,
that part,
you know, it will be the most minute things, but it's something that you can't control. So another thing is to always control what you can control. What you can control is going into the room and doing a great job and killing the audition. That you can control. You can control how you prepare. You can control what you bring into the room, but everything else you leave. You do.
Preach, Brother Marcus.
Marcus, you better hit him with the, I'm hit you with the amen, and thank you for that.
That's the amen corner right there.
Well, Marcus, we had a blast with talking with you.
It's been such a pleasure.
Absolutely. You're such a sweetheart. What can we expect moving forward from you?
Yeah, look out for Power. When that starts, it's going to be a crazy.
Ooh, that's another show I love. Let me see if I can get on the panel for that one.
Y'all thought last season was...
Last season was crazy.
Oh, shucks now.
Crazy.
Wait till you see the shenanigans Ray get into. You gonna see.
Oh man, I'm excited.
Hit him with the Drake line. You gonna see. Well, thank you so much, Marcus. We had a blast with you.
And tell everyone again where they can follow you and stay in touch with your journey.
Okay, so my Instagram is @DistantLoving, distant DISTANT, loving. Y'all know how to spell loving. LOVING. And Twitter @Marcus Callender. My last name is spelled with 2 L's and an ER. It's not spelled like the actual calendar.
That's good to know.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, you know where to find It was such a blast speaking with Mr. Marcus Callender. I feel like we got to know him a little bit better.
Listen, I just want to say that respect the gap. He is my brother, my gap twin. You know what I'm saying? So,
I just want to say Marcus is such a sweet person, and he's so different from his character Scooby, because you will hate Scooby.
Well, after this episode, I'm done with Scooby.
Scooby, we're done. It's a wrap.
Scooby went off the rails.
Scooby is crazy.
Can we just talk about the episode?
I actually wish we would have had the chance to see the episode before we talked to Mr.
I know.
Oh my gosh, our perspective would have been totally different on Scooby, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And Scooby, you wrong for not giving us insight to today's episode.
He gave us no intel.
dead
Where that's messed
wrong.
up.
He
Oh,
smirked.
Incel.
He's like, you guys are gonna see, and we saw Marcus.
Oh my gosh.
Great episode. Great episode.
Great writing. Oh my gosh. One thing we definitely did see was Miss Nikki go home back to DC, which is where I'm from. What's up, DC?
What's up? All the go-go music.
All the go-go music. And once again, it fit very true to the story. You had the go-go music. And the funny thing I actually did like was when you go back home, you often think that sometimes it's an escape, you know, to go back to what you're used to. And you go back home, the people are doing the same old thing. Still smoking weed, still drinking, still doing the same old thing. And you're like, what am I here for? You know, like nobody has moved on. Nobody has transitioned.
It's definitely a challenge because you know when you go home and you know you're doing what you want, you have a dream, you love it, but your family just doesn't understand it. So that's why I thought it was dope that her auntie was like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you home? And shout out to her mom, who was played by Layla Rashawn. We haven't seen her in a long time.
Waiting to exhale, child. We see you.
Yes, girl. And you know what? You can actually see in Nikki's eyes that she knows that that's not where she's supposed to be.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
not
I'm
where she
saying? Like,
belongs.
I'm hoping that when we saw her get on that bus at the end, it was her getting on that bus coming back.
Yeah, it definitely was. She was definitely coming back
leaving.
to NYC, baby. She got to chase her dream. She's not about the average life.
The reality is, though, we got to see that her daddy was a fraud just like her.
Absolutely.
Put that out
She
there.
thought he won a Grammy. He didn't.
And it's so unfortunate, y'all.
She's a
He
fraud.
got it in
He's a fraud.
Sally called it.
It's
She's
in the
a
blood.
fraud. Daddy's a fraud.
Yeah.
And she ran away from it and went to
Boy,
New York
that
to be a fraud.
DNA is strong, y'all. That DNA is strong.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of strong, Barry OD'd this episode, so he definitely had a strong dose of coke, and he was out for it. Okay, so we just gonna run through it really quick. We actually see Mr. Barry had a last line of coke, knocked him right on out. Miss Deevee actually, I'm sorry, not Deevee. And Scooby actually are being recognized at the killing. Mainly Scooby. They found the tattoo. It's an African-shaped tattoo. Scooby is the prime suspect, right? And the girl recognized him as a witness, but she's actually afraid to speak on that, right?
I knew that was going to happen.
That's been a theme in the community. Snitches get stitches. Right. And, of course, even Demeter said you can't be a snitch and make it in hip-hop. And that's just the reality of the situation. But the thing is, ever since Nikki left, he's going off the rails.
He's going. Like, he doesn't know what to do.
All this coke, and I just want to give a special shout out to my Latina sister Laura Aguinaga, who played the girl who was taking down all his notes. So shout outs to her.
He was on a crazy coke binge.
He was definitely on a coke binge. Also, because his business was in jeopardy too. So he also didn't know. It wasn't just Nikki. He just didn't know what to do, how to move forward. That was his coping mechanism to rely on the cocaine and the drugs. But we did get to see and Deevee forming their little relationship.
They got a bond,
their little brotherly bond.
It was so cute to see.
They definitely balance
that.
each other out very well.
I want to say that Am's face was priceless when
Deevee
was talking about Demeter.
It was such a meme, a moment. It was like a meme.
Sipping the he's like,
it was so cute.
It was super cute.
So cute.
It was so
but that was
cute.
that big brother moment that I said in the prediction. Like, I feel like they're gonna become closer and get a doper bond.
Right.
Now, how many of y'all was surprised that went through and whooped Gordy's behind?
No,
at the end?
I saw it.
I wasn't
I wasn't
surprised.
surprised
I knew it.
because I felt like he was already hip to what was going on. And he wanted to protect Deevee because Deevee tried to. He tried to knock Gordy out, but he didn't do a good job.
Because that look in his face was like, bro, I got you.
You messing with my little brother, you messing with me. I ain't gonna do it right now,
you.
but I'm gonna get you when you.
That's the thing about Like, he didn't
Right.
want the attention, like how Deevee was getting that attention. So the
He's
way
smart.
he was looking at him, like, he's gonna come and kick his ass.
Oh my
Seriously.
freaking gosh. Speaking
Made
of
me feel
kicking
good.
ass, you actually see Scooby comes to the door of the victim. He
Oh
pulls
my
out
God.
that trigger and he shoots the victim in the
Marcus.
eye.
And he did say, run.
He did. That's how she notified
through
him.
the peephole.
He
But
said she should have ran.
She knew her life was gonna come to an end because when they had to repeat the line, she knew that they knew it was her that was behind that screen. So she got scared and she's like, "No, it's not him." And I knew her life was gonna end.
Listen,
Oh my gosh.
you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because she didn't snitch and she got killed anyway. So that sucks.
It made me scared to look through the peepholes. I'm like, how am I supposed to see who coming at my door?
In my hood,
Where
we
we
don't have
from, we
peephole,
don't
we got
look through the
windows.
peephole. But
No.
the shady thing is, Scooby didn't tell what happened.
Yeah,
that
he was
was
a shady
super
one.
shady.
He was definitely shady.
Marcus, what's up with that?
Marcus. And he says to his boy, he's like, weak ass don't need to know what's happening. So you see a little shade.
There's a turn. There's a turn.
There's a shift, a different
Definitely,
shift.
I predict something bad's happening there.
I don't trust Scooby.
You gotta keep your one eye open with Scooby, man.
Literally, because he shot what's her name in the eye.
In the eye. Oh my gosh, this is
keep your
freaking
enemies close and your friends close.
Oh my gosh, but definitely we know next episode is going to be the bomb.com. Oh my gosh, it's so much to talk about. But thank you so very much for joining us. I hope you loved the interview with Scooby, aka Marcus Callender. Please follow him on all social media platforms and tune into us next Monday, episode 7. We're going to have Mr. live in person.
Oh my goodness.
And I know y'all ladies been waiting on that.
Listen, and everything's gonna be slayed to the gods for that man.
We might look a little different next Monday.
Next Monday we'll definitely be able to get more into this episode and next episode. But thanks guys for hanging out with us.
Make sure you download our podcast, watch us on YouTube. You can find me at Dominique Cerita on Instagram and Twitter. Miss Sally, give your handles.
Make sure you hang out with me at all things at Sally Hangout.
Hey guys, I'm Nakia Monet. You can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom and also on Monday on Feud.
Yes, guys. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And please chat with us on our live chat. Again, this is Miss Candy Marie. You can find me at Miss Candy Marie on Instagram and Sweet Kendora TV on Twitter.
That's right. And although we didn't have enough time today, chat us in the group chat like she said, and we're going to fill you guys in on tonight's episode. Thank you for joining us. Later.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
As an actor is in theater.
Later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.